with the kids and family from Western Schools counselor Josh Smith. Hi, Josh.
Hi, thanks for having me back on today.
Yeah, great to see you. Your kids are out of school, but you're still in school.
Yeah. Last day of school was Thursday last week, so almost 1 week out of school for the kids, and we're still in the office for another day or two.
You know, I know a lot of families, summer came really too fast. They weren't prepared. It's like, oh my God, my kid's home all day. Now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So what kinds of things do you advise families that, you know, it's all of a sudden a new routine, school's out?
Yeah, great question. So kids are not at school, kids are at home, maybe parents are still at work, or you're home with your kids and you're like, what do I do, right? So one of the things that I would actually encourage people to do, we try to do at our house, as my kids are probably watching at home right now. I sent them a text and said, watch right now, turn on JTV. But is give them a few days to rest and relax and take it easy, right? You don't have to worry about getting a routine right away because everybody needs a little break. So give them a few days to take a little break, and then it's important to go ahead and set some routines.
Okay.
So reasonable time to wake up,
Price is Right.
Not sleeping in past 10, right? Reasonable time to go to bed. Those kind of things. And think about like screen time. How much are you going to allow the kids to watch TV, to be on the internet, be on their phones, play video games, setting some expectations. Routines can include things like exercise every day. And I'm not talking like hitting the weight room, but like go for a walk the dog. If it's a specific routine, if they're in sports, every coach will probably have a set of things for their athletes to do. And so exercise, eating well, things like that. Setting some expectations.
I was talking to someone of my generation this morning, and we were talking about summer where a lot of kids, we thought summer was so long it was never going to end because I think we just didn't have anything to do. You know, it's just every day the same. So how do you make the most of your summer so that it's, it doesn't feel too long for kids?
Yeah, I think a couple of things that I've, from my own experience, but also from working in a school, is one of the great things to do is to try and do something as soon as you can once summer starts. Sometimes if you wait for any sort of a vacation or a weekend getaway until a month later, you do it and then you're like, wait, the summer's half over. Sometimes you can do something right away, even if it's something small. It's like the official start of summer. And then it just feels more like summer. It feels like vacation because you went somewhere, you did something. And even if you don't travel a big distance, it could be local right here in Jackson. And so let's maybe start and do something right away. And then keep your eyes and ears open. I saw you guys were advertising for some concerts that are happening in Jackson. And even if it's something that's not super exciting to you, expand yourself a little bit, challenge yourself, do something that you go and listen to a concert maybe you wouldn't normally listen to. And things like the Civil War muster that we do here locally. And I see that the Kiwanis Club is at Michigan Theater with movies for kids that's really affordable and sometimes even free. So there's lots of stuff to do around here to stay busy and look forward to and enjoy your summer.
Yeah, we do. It is a busy summer in terms of events and activities. There is something every day, really, to do. Plus, just being here, we've got all these lakes and parks. And
lots of great lakes. And the other thing I would really recommend is finding some place to volunteer. Someplace where you can take some time that you have in the summer, like the Interfaith Shelter. Churches always have opportunities for students. Grow Jackson. Even if you were to go in the city and say, what can we do? What can we do to help the library? I'm sure Henry Ford is always looking for volunteers. Of course, if you're school aged, they might not be able to use you, but there's opportunities out there.
Yeah, but even volunteers, kids can volunteer at places.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you recommend kids get summer jobs?
At a certain age, and again, each person's a little different. So some students have athletics that go all year round. Like my daughter has friends that are on a softball team that play all summer.
All year.
All summer.
It
Soccer,
never ends.
softball, basketball. You could be overly involved sometimes, and if you're overly involved and you're trying to work, it's probably even more stressful than school was. So each situation is a little different. Now, if somebody's sitting at home, nothing to do, and you could be making some money and putting work experience on that resume, it would definitely be a good idea to go. And we were talking about it at lunch today.
Do you pay your kids to work at the house?
I do not pay them to work at the house. That's assumed, and they're watching right now.
They're
That's
watching.
assumed that they're going to do work around the house.
It's just
No
a
payment.
given.
I mean, we pay for their phones and we pay for video games and food, and we do fun stuff with them. So I think it's reasonable to ask them to do the stuff around the house.
All right. What if your school year didn't go as planned? Maybe you
Yeah.
got some bad news on the report card.
Yeah, so sometimes students don't do great in school. And so one of the things that you could do is you could contact your school, see if there's summer school options. There's tutoring that's available. As a parent too, there's different things that you can do with online opportunities, books they could read, videos they could watch. And I think, again, taking a short break's okay, and then jumping back in. But most schools are going to offer summer school.
What about kids that if they're together, all of a sudden they're not getting along? How many kids do you have?
You just spoke into my experience about 10 minutes before I came here. There was literally that going on in our house.
Skirmish at your house?
Little dust up, little skirmish. It's going to happen. Kids are kids, so don't be too alarmed by that. Don't be distraught. But I think if you keep that structure and that routine, part of the bad behavior is probably because it's a whole new routine. We're not sure what we're doing today. We're not sure. No school, no structure. So setting some of those routines can be helpful and keep them busy, and setting expectations as a parent too.
Should you designate one child to be in charge of the remote?
Probably. That way they're not fighting over it, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you and Karen have that same argument, or
Yeah, I'm in charge of
you're
the
in charge?
remote.
Okay. I'm going to ask her. And
How about, is there no one in charge of the remote in your house?
usually, it depends. It depends on what we're watching,
Right.
actually. If it's sports, I'll have control. If not, one of the kids or Mel.
Whoever works it best. I think that's the rule. And my sister's family, she's in charge of the remote because her husband, he can't make it, when you're doing a search. and
It's
you have
complicated
to,
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. How about your summer? What's the exciting thing your kids are looking forward to?
We go on a family vacation every year, and this year it is to Ludington, and so we'll be there for a week. My parents pay for it, which is amazing. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And my family goes, and my brother's family goes, and they go, and we enjoy our time there at the beach and pool and whatever else Ludington has to offer.
Awesome. Well, yeah. There's we're just so lucky where we live. You can go to the lake here in 10 minutes. You can go to the big lake in 2 hours. That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great summer.
Thank you. You too.
And all the Smith kids behave. Will you
That's right.
please?
Yes, thank you.
I'm turning this car around. The counselor at Western Schools, Josh Smith.